Hey, welcome back to Six Pack Garage, Phoenix, Arizona. Back on the YZF 1000R Thunder Ace. Got a little bit of a rideability issue. Taking off and coming to a stop, something's definitely off. Suspension related. I did do front fork seals on it a couple years ago. They don't seem to be leaking, so I think the forks are fine in the front end. So that shifted my focus to the rear, and there is an odd puddle of fluid on the garage floor here. So what we've got is a blown shock, unfortunately. And that's what this video is about, is replacing that shock. Stay tuned. Okay, so I knew this was going to be a little bit of a problem. I could take this banjo bolt off and just pull out the old shock, but this is nitrogen charged, and even though it's leaking oil, there's probably going to be some pressure in here potentially. Either way, I have to get the new one, the new entire assembly, through this opening somehow. So there's probably a better way to do it, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this starter relay. I'm going to just rivet it onto the battery box. It's just plastic and a metal bracket. So I'm going to just drill this rivet out to get this relay out of the way. And then I think I can lift this high enough with the relay removed to kind of push the reservoir through this opening, potentially. So it's not that big of a deal. Like, I've got little nuts and bolts to bolt this relay back on. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, now the shock is loose. So basically I took this long bolt out here, and then this lower bolt, and then the one upper bolt. Now the only issue is, and I did have to take the bottom fairing off. No big deal, that took like 3 minutes. So now the only issue is getting that reservoir past the battery box. Okay, I think the trick is, I really couldn't get this pried far enough to get the reservoir through here, but I think I'm gonna be able to sneak it in through the back of the battery box here. There's like the ECU is back there, and there's a couple relays that are clipped to the battery box. I moved those out of the way, and I think this is the way. Maybe. Okay, that was it. There we go. It's all one charged assembly. Not much of a charge left in this one, obviously, but you can see the oil. It's been leaking. It's all wet here, and yeah, that's definitely it. Okay, here's a new one, well, used. So I found this. This came with the arms and everything, so I'll just replace it all since somebody went through and cleaned this already. So it's got everything. I just hope it's got a charge in it. But anyways, this was $99 on eBay, and it is off of a 97, so it's used and old, but doesn't appear to have been leaking, so we'll see what happens. This lower mount has needle bearings in it. Seem like they're good. I'm just gonna put a little bit of bearing grease in there. I mean, it seems like there's lube in there, and probably doesn't need a lot, but it doesn't hurt. And then here's the bolt. So this bushing here rides on the needle bearings in here. Put that in there. Yeah, that's got a nice freedom of movement. Okay, I got that bolt in there. Got the nut on the other side. I haven't tightened it yet. It's got two positions. I just put it back to where it was. And then these bars go up here. There we go. So I'll get that. I have to put a pry bar in here, pry it so I can get this. It's got this long bolt, and you can slip it in through in between the chain and the rear arm. So that'll be a two-hander. Okay, I got that last bolt in there. Now this is a little precarious, but I've got a jack under there, basically under the exhaust manifold. It's real thick, so it's not gonna cave in. It's making the bike lean a little bit, so probably not the smartest thing, but you know, I'm okay with it. It's not like unbalanced. I can shake it a little bit, but I needed to unload the swing arm, basically take the weight off of it so the shock, you know, can kind of droop, and I was able to get that last bolt in. All right, time to put that relay back on. So this is where I drilled out that rivet. So I got basically a machine screw. Put that in from the inside. That's a little better. At least it's protected against some of the sharper edges. It'll be fine either way, but I just feel more comfortable having a little extra protection on that battery cable. Okay, that was a little bit of an adventure. Definitely a steep learning curve. So the shock that I had purchased was a full assembly with the nitrogen container, everything put together, all dry, no signs of any fluid. Somebody did a good job cleaning it, let's put it that way. But I learned through the process that somebody had opened up one of the banjo bolts and drained the fluid out of, at least some of the fluid out. So that was something I had to troubleshoot around and figure out how to fill that circuit with fluid. And in the end of the video here, you just saw me bleed it by compressing the suspension with a ratchet strap. That's the key to this whole repair, is that if that hydraulic system has been opened, you have to be able to, you want to have the right amount of fluid in there. Let me just say it that way. So when you compress the suspension, you have to do that with the bleeder or with the top banjo bolt loose, so that the fluid has somewhere to go, because otherwise there's too much fluid in the system and the nitrogen cylinder can't do its job. So in a nutshell, what you do is by compressing the suspension, letting the fluid come out, then before decompressing the suspension, you have to close that and then allow, so now the shock's going to basically pull a vacuum. So it's going to pull that piston in the nitrogen cylinder out as far as it can. So now fluid has somewhere to go and that nitrogen piston has somewhere to go. It can actually cushion that. So you saw me kind of bouncing on this thing at the end and you saw the movement. So it wasn't sloppy, but there was movement. And now the adjustments for compression, rebound, and preload actually make a difference. So I'm 270 pounds. I'm technically too heavy for this bike. Like this is, it actually shows on the sticker 198 pounds max load. So I'm 72 pounds over max on this bike. So my son's lighter than me. So we'll have to fine tune the suspension for his body weight. So I've got it somewhere in the middle right now and that might be good enough. Anyways, bit of an adventure. Took me longer than it should have, only because I learned a lot along the way. And there is no information on the internet on how to do this job. I looked everywhere, Reddit, Google, AI, YouTube. There's nothing on this process. So if you have you're doing a rear shock replacement and you have to open that hydraulic circuit, this is probably the only video out there on how to do that. So hopefully it helps if you're in the same situation. And thank you for watching. See you on the next one.